Yo, 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 what's good, YouTube? What's good? Stormybman, and I am back, welcoming you to the Friday Night Chop Session with Stormybman for this Friday, September 9th, 2022. And this is episode number 167 in the Friday Night Chop Session series. And it was originally called Ladies Night, Clarissa Shields versus Savannah Marshall, the undisputed women's middleweight championship. But we all know over the past 24 hours, things have changed. The fight has now been postponed. But tonight's show is still dedicated to that card, the ladies participating, because there was going to also be a hell of a co-main with Michaela Mayer taking on Alicia Baumgardner for the Unified Junior Lightweight Championship Women's Division. And let it just be said that this special card, being an all-women's championship caliber card for the first time in the UK, it was to be a historical event taking place tomorrow, September 10th. And due to the unfortunate circumstances of the United Kingdom losing their leader, Queen Elizabeth II, she passed away, and according to how they conduct affairs over there, all entertainment and sporting events and everything have been suspended for a 9 to 10 day mourning period. So with that being said, that's why we're not having our event tomorrow that we were looking so forward to. But tonight, I will still take the time out to acknowledge what we were getting into, and we will use this as a precursing build-up to the event when it does take place a little over a month from now. And we'll talk about that a little bit as we get into the show. But I want to welcome everybody that's out there. Thank you for tuning in. The airwaves are hot right now. A lot of people kind of emotional and everything, and there's venomous words being spewed back and forth and whatnot due to some ruffled feathers out here, man. And it's funny because you just kind of sit back and you watch what's going on and you like, wow, man, really? But it happens, huh? And hopefully the dust will settle and people will come back to their right or rightful place of mind and spirit and get back down to business. If not, the Stormybman channel gonna keep rolling on, keep bringing you the content that you've known me to bring you over the past 3 years, and we're gonna get better. Yeah. See who we got out here in the chat. We got my man Big Homie Coop out there saying salute Sifu. Backsmack the like button, people. Class is in session, so pay attention. Salute to all the family in the chat. Combat Tool Bag, our neighborhood warrior out there. He's in there chat saying salute Grandmaster Sensei Stormy. Salute to you, brother. And salute to the chat. Flawless Mentality. Dr. Mark is out there saying salute to the God, the Sensei Stormy, and the gods and beautiful goddesses of the Friday Night Chop Session family. Salute to you, Dr. Mark. T-Berry in there with the channel emojis. I appreciate you, T-Berry, coming out there. You know how Stormy loves to see the channel emojis from the members, man. William is out there saying salute, my brother. here for some of your wisdom. Y'all smash the like button, people, when entering the building. Absolutely. Who else we got out here? Big homie Coop is saluting. Flawless. J. Wayne Citizen channel members out there saying salute to Stormybman and everyone in the chat. Curtis Price is out there saying right on 1000. Amen. Thrill Hills back with us saying salute Stormy B. Salute to you. CB Sports TV in the building saying salute Stormy B, man. Salute to you, brother. Who else we got? Everybody else is greeting one another at the moment. I've got my devices going on, so you guys might see me looking to the left, looking to the right. So I kind of got like a realistic studio setup here now with my devices going along with my laptop. It helps me be able to focus up on things, especially if there are glitches and what have you. So that's what's happening. We're trying to make some improvements here on the channel. Yeah. So tonight's show is called Another Boxing Setback. Yeah. We're going to call it like it is. Say it for what it is, because it is another setback for boxing. Just when boxing was about to deliver and accomplish something great, it shoots itself in the foot and then shoots itself in the rear. But that wasn't good enough. Then they decided to go ahead and pull the trigger at the temple. Yeah. Because from what we went away from to where we are headed speaks volumes about why the sport can't get ahead to begin with. There was the opportunity for this all-women's championship card, first card ever like that in the UK, broadcast through Sky Sports TV and ESPN Plus, where we had these women taking center stage in boxing in a highly anticipated bout with the main event of Shields versus Marshall and an equally sought co-main in Mayer versus Baumgartner. Excuse me. Plus a host of young upcoming fighters on the undercard to fill out the action. And with the news that came down that the Queen had passed on, the officials have elected to suspend all the sporting events and what have you. And today was supposed to be the weigh-in for the fight. But I'm going to tell you, I had some conversations behind the scenes. And what I came up with, I'm going to share with you to let you know how things were not thought out. Football, aka soccer as it's known in the US, but football throughout the rest of the world. All games have been suspended over there that run through the UK. Respectfully and understandably. But boxing is a bit of a different type sport, people. I'm going to mute my mic for a second because I got a cough. Sorry about that. Boxing being a sport where the combatants enter into training camps and they prepare themselves over a series of weeks, culminating in a fight week of final workouts, pressers, and a weigh-in the day before the fight. Most fighters have to cut weight to make their weight limits. So in being that today was going to be the weigh-in, most of these fighters had done all of their sacrifices up to this point. And all that was left were the weigh-in and the fight tomorrow. Weigh-in today, fight tomorrow. These officials elected to suspend this match. But I believe that they dropped the ball without thinking things through. And I'll tell you what I mean when I say that. They didn't think things through because this being the biggest event in women's boxing history over in the UK, the fight was going to take place at the O2 Arena, the biggest arena over there to hold an event like this. What better homage to the Queen could there have been to make certain that all other sporting events be postponed and canceled, but this be allowed to take place? And I'm not saying this just from a standpoint of being a boxing aficionado. I'm saying it, think about what I'm about to say here. What would have been a better homage to the Queen than the first historical women's card with a main event with arguably the best woman boxer of today, Clarissa Shields, coming into the country to defend her unified titles against the country's single titleist for an undisputed matchup in the main event, a card headlined by all women. You turn this promotion into a Queen's Day inauguration to honor the Queen, to say, hey, forever going forward, September 10th will be Queen's Day in the UK, and headlining and kicking it all off will be this tremendous fight card. You allow it to take place, and because everything else is shut down, where will all eyes be? On this event. How much more dramatic, how much more exciting, how much more of an event you turn this into. You take the lemons and you make lemonade. You turn this around into something positive for all involved. People don't have to feel like that they've sacrificed for nothing. People don't have to feel like they shortchanged or were shortchanged. That they had an opportunity to be a part of something historical. They might fight a little harder. They may give a little more effort and spirit. They may even feel compelled, motivated to be a part of this historical opportunity. They jumped the gun, people. They jumped the gun. So all I'm saying is this could have been turned into something truly gratifying for the nation and everybody involved. And again, being promoted and advertised in the sense that I just suggested would allow this to be not only a historical event and monumental landmarking event, but going forward, you'll have something to look back on, to reminisce and think about and say, hey, and then you call it September 10th, Queen's Day. And make certain that when Queen's Day rolls around, you have a boxing card featuring one of the women of boxing. Just a little food for thought here, because what they decided to do was postpone the match all the way into October. Specifically, October 15th is what I'm hearing. I don't have that on a confirmation yet. But if it be confirmed that it's being moved to October 15th, then we already know what's happening on October 15th, right? Isn't that the fight date for Devin Haney and George Kambosos Part 2? Excuse me, in Australia? Yeah. So, if that be the case, you're going to have two main events crossing one another's paths. But then, just wait a minute. The heavyweight return of Deontay Wilder, the Bronze Bomber, against Robert Helenius, the Nordic Nightmare. Scheduled Fox, PBC, October 15th. So you having the women now going up against the men. Why? Why? You had the opportunity to give them their proper shine, and God knows they deserve it, because they sign on the dotted line without batting an eyelash. It's tough getting these men to get together. Haney versus Kambosos 2 is not even a fight that is in demand, because Devin Haney defeated Kambosos Circus and folded their tent quite easily the first go round. Not necessary. But these leeches sunk their tentacles into Haney and his camp to draw more money out of him and try to bleed the public of real boxing by contractually obligating him to fight this man again. There is no reason to believe that the second fight will end up any better for Kambosos Circus the second go round. No one asked for this. They know that it's really not going to make money, but they just are doing it anyway. So why are you making the women compete against this? Because it will draw some audience. But why are the women sharing a stage that didn't need to be shared? You may as well take away the fact that they're fighting in an all-women's card, championship caliber card, and just add whoever to the card now. What was once special about it has been stripped away. Stripped away. But why? And you know that because this is Deontay Wilder's comeback since his loss last fall to Tyson Fury, you know that people are going to tune in. They want to see Wilder. They want to see the heavyweights, period. But you really are curious as to where Deontay may be headed in his second go round. So why does Clarissa have to share that spotlight? Why? She's earned her place, people. Earned it. Savannah Marshall hasn't, but Clarissa has. She has done so much putting that sport on her shoulders and carrying it that she even elected to go over there to defend her titles when she could have demanded that it be held elsewhere, because Marshall and her camp have been imposed a no-fly zone. They can't leave from over there. That's a whole nother story, but it's the truth. But you're going to ask the GOAT, as Clarissa has nicknamed herself, just like Ali called himself the greatest. Clarissa dubs herself the GOAT. And I don't have an argument with that because she has been great in and out of the ring. But they are treating her second class. And she's not. I've watched all of the pressers. I've watched the face-off for this week. And I even did a couple of videos. But the lack of respect for her accomplishments, her merits in the ring, and even what she has done outside of the ring have been disrespected. But she's giving Marshall an opportunity at Undisputed. And all they can do is be disrespectful. You have to wonder who picked this date for the fight to be rescheduled. And then maybe want to put a hole in their head. If I didn't know better, to me, it seems this was all part of a grand scheme. There are no coincidences in life. Did you hear what I said? I don't like it, people. I don't like it. So we are left with these people shoving this down our throats as something to accept when they know damn well what they're doing. This was by design. They couldn't find any other date. They couldn't even move 10 days beyond now. I think these ladies could have held 10 days down, right? They could have held 10 days down. But they moved it all the way a little over a month. A month. Do you know what that means for a fighter that's in training? If you have to break training and go back into it, you could lose rhythm, you could lose focus, you could lose a disruption of your whole body state. Boxing is 80+% mental, depending on who you are. Wrenches. This Angel Johnson out there in the chat, they got one more comment, and then you know what to do. One more comment, because Stormy B don't play. Keep your eyes and your scopes peeled. When we think about these things, the only person this could serve is a person who cheats. Yes, I said that. A person who performs on PEDs could optimize this opportunity because it gives them a few extra weeks to either cycle out or to cycle on so that you can be coming off by the time fight week comes around. And remember, because it's happening over there, VADA testing and everything may not be the same as it is in the US. See, if you go back to Fury and Wilder's third fight, it was scheduled for July. 9 days out from the fight, Fury pulls out of the fight. Undisclosed injury, not this time. Supposedly contracted COVID, but never behaved as one with COVID because he was around in public places with no mask, taking pictures, interacting with people, and so forth, and even traveled. He should have been issued a no-fly ordinance at that time, but he wasn't. Said that he had a sick daughter in the hospital back in the UK. And he was around his daughter allegedly with COVID. At a farm, he was at a what do they call it? A carnival and everything. All of this was recorded, people. I'm not calling him a liar, but these things were evident. Now, that fight was pushed to October from July. People lost travel arrangements. They lost their hotel money. They lost travel money. It's like people had set up to see that fight in Vegas. A huge cluster of the LDBC was going to be there. A lot of people lost money with Fury and his bull crap. Now, I mention that because one thing that I know is this: the benefits of someone who is taking performance enhancing drugs. There are moments of cycling where even under testing, it won't show up, especially if you're taking certain things. Designer. Did anybody happen to notice that in the 11th round of that fight that Fury ended up defeating Wilder? He never looked tired. He never looked winded. He's a big guy, right? 6'7" plus, 270 pounds plus. But he doesn't strike me as the type of guy that really works out, right? You might see him in the gym doing some things, but if you saw Philippe Hergovic and Zhilei Zhang fight for the 12 rounds that they competed against each other, you see what tired big men look like when it's over. If you saw Andy Ruiz and Luis King Kong Ortiz when it was over with, they looked like two guys who had been 12 rounds. All I'm saying is wake up and smell the bullshit. So, if the hardest punching woman in boxing, who has benefited from last minute notice matches, fighters who haven't been given complete camps to prepare for her, third-rate fighters, and she's knocking them out. And she's doing it in a manner which is like she's a man. She hits these people so hard, it's like they go, because it's like a male-like quality. But she never hurt people like that in the amateurs at all. And she didn't hurt people like that before getting with Mr. Peter Fury. That name, Fury. I say these things because if she were to benefit from cycling on and cycling off, that seems like a nice little lofty time, huh? September to October, July to October for Fury. Interesting. I don't play with this. I want you to understand where I'm coming from. I truly do. Think about it, people. Think about it. I just want you to really take a moment. Sometimes things don't just happen by osmosis. Sometimes things happen because there is intent. There's no way that you should pile up all of the major fights for the third quarter of the year, the fourth quarter of the year, and put them on one date. And need I remind you, Spence and Crawford hasn't even been made. Yeah. So what are we really doing here? What are we really doing? Who are you fooling? Who are you crapping out here? Think about it, people. And see, Clarissa had an MMA fight on the schedule for this fall. She had an MMA fight on schedule. So this is just crapping all over. And don't forget this one important factor here. The fight was already rescheduled to tomorrow. They were supposed to fight in June. I'm telling you, I don't make these things up, people. This is the real deal. This is the real deal. Salute to Mr. Pac-Man 216 out there with that cash app, man. I appreciate you, Mr. Pac-Man. Says for keeping up the good work. Thank you, bro. Some people don't want to hear the truth. Some people would rather continue to suck the glass dildo. You remember Cypher in the Matrix film saying ignorance is bliss, when he was sitting there talking with Agent Smith? I mention this for a reason, people. It all comes full circle. This is a reality that we're dealing with. Antonio says, man, Fury could have went 15 to 20 rounds with that stuff he was on. Yeah, he looked like he could. He didn't look like a weary man. I know that. And when you're big like that and you're lugging that type of weight around, you get fatigued, bruh. You ever watch the NFL? Now those linemen and stuff, they're pretty much the size of Tyson Fury. 6'5", 6'7", 300 pounds. But in the fourth quarter, what are all those men doing? Standing with their hands on their hips or leaning over on their knees, right? Coming out every other play, right? And Fury, I don't know if you guys have noticed, he's not the most stoutly genetically built guy, huh? He's got dough around his hips permanently. He doesn't have any muscularity in his arms, but he's got very long arms. And he's knock-kneed and slew-footed. One of his legs looked like a kickstand on a bicycle. Now, I don't say these things to make fun of him, But I say him because he is the least athletic guy at the top of the division. But he's been able to enjoy more success than anybody. And he's a self-professed user of illicit narcotics. Himself. Allegedly. That's not me. That's he. So when I say these things, giving it to you straight with no chaser. Now let's take a look at Savannah Marshall. Does she look like the most athletic person to you? But all of a sudden, she's developed this power. Now, to hear Peter Fury tell it, he took her and changed her from being an arm puncher to punching with better technique and with, leverage and everything, giving her more power. That's what he says. Does that sound familiar? Did we not hear a gentleman by the name of Sugar Hill Stewart say something similar about working with Tyson Fury? Now watch this, people. I'm going to blow a hole in all of that bullshit. Who trained Tyson Fury before Sugar Hill Stewart? I'm waiting. Who trained Tyson Fury before Sugar Hill Stewart? I mean, earlier in his career. No, B-Mac, before Ben Davis. I'm trying to draw a circle here, bro. Peter Fury, his freaking uncle, was his trainer, bro. So you mean to tell me Peter turned Savannah into a puncher who couldn't punch coming out of the amateurs? But he couldn't turn his nephew into a puncher? All of a sudden, he's become Jedi-like and a guru, and he can turn feather-fisted fighters into concussive, blow you out of their destructive power punchers. Have another plate of bullshit. The old trainers will always tell you and have always maintained. Teddy Atlas is still around. Listen to him. He'll tell you. Punchers are born. They go under the names of the likes of Joe Louis, Ernie Shavers, George Foreman, Deontay Wilder, and more. Julian Jackson, Gerald McClellan. Yeah. You're born. You could try to emulate it all day long. Roy Jones Jr. had a certain amount of speed and power blended that even no matter how much teaching and standing over his shoulder and talking in his ear, Chris Eubank Jr. will never be able to repeat what Roy Jones was able to do. You either have that or you do not. Where was Fury's punching power against Otto Wallin? I say these things because I'm not trying to be insulting. I'm trying to stop you from being insulted. Your intelligence. When you sit up and listen to these people talk the crap that they talk. It's the same with having a chin. You either have one or you don't. You can't grow one. And some of y'all got some big ass heads. But that don't mean you can take a blow. I'm only trying to make a point of they've been feeding you fantasy. And in the UK, that seems to be okay. And I'm not trying to insult the UK boxing support group. But they are more inclined to go along with the stories than to look at what's obvious. It's almost like when they looked at AJ going in against Usyk for the second time, they was like, all he's got to do is just be aggressive and go after him and beat him up and he can get him out of there. AJ can punch hard. But just because you can punch hard doesn't mean you're going to be the victor. Which leads me back to Savannah Marshall against Clarissa Shields. In their face-off, a lot was touched on, but one thing that kept being touched on by Johnny Nelson was the fact that they were trying to get Clarissa to acknowledge that the girl punches hard and that she should have a fear of that. But Clarissa is a world champion, a world-class fighter. She's not worried about what the other fighter can do as far as punching power. She's worried about what she's going to do to that fighter to turn back her challenge, as a real champion is supposed to think. And the only thing that they could keep talking about was trying to hurt Clarissa or bang her around or something like that. But nothing strategic, nothing tactical, and she didn't even do enough in the amateurs to be victorious. So she can't outbox Clarissa, who is 20 times the boxer she was in the amateurs. Punchers are born. Champions are bred. Yeah. And let me say this. Just because you've garnished a title doesn't make you a champion. A champion defends, and defenses lead to reigns. Always understand that. Mm-hmm. I tell you, man, it's something.
Two feuding rivals, one undisputed title. On September the 10th, we have a very special fight on our hands. Claressa Shields, Savannah Marshall, welcome to The Gloves Are Off.
I'm happy to be here. Once those lights come on, I'm ready to do what I do best. I want to show her that, yeah, you beat me when I was 17, but I'm 27 now. The fight back then doesn't matter. It's a whole different ballgame now.
It was an amateur win, and we're not in the amateurs anymore. This is it. This is go time. This has been what I've been working for ever since I turned pro, to become undisputed middleweight champion of the world.
It's been a long time in the making. Great to see you two sat around the table at us. How's it feel, Claressa?
Finally, it feels good.
Does the anticipation around this fight show you how far women's boxing has gone?
Absolutely, at the O2 Arena, not in Newcastle. And I believe we would have like a great undercard too. Just shows that, you know, women's boxing has grew a very, very long way for us to be headlining this card.
Savannah, how proud are you to see how far women's boxing has gone all around the world?
I'm really proud. It's massive, and it's in the UK. I think at the minute the UK is leading for female boxing.
Have you noticed a change in people's perceptions change over time around women's boxing?
100%. It's not, oh, there's a female fight card. It's, God, this is a brilliant boxing card. And that's what we've all been striving for years.
Claressa, have you seen people's minds change, their opinions change?
Yeah, agreed. You know, I think that women's boxing at first, it was like, oh, you know, she fights like a girl. There wasn't that much notoriety. We weren't getting paid a lot. Now this fight, we're getting paid a lot. It's on a huge platform, Sky Sports, ESPN in the US, and I think it's just huge.
You must be proud because worldwide you've played a big part in this.
Yeah.
That was the plan.
I fought wherever they were going to pay me and give me some respect at, and I've been respected and given a whole lot of support. And now I'm big enough to where I can fight in the UK. And when I walk the streets here, people know who I am. So I feel good about that. And knowing that we finally got this fight made with Marshall, also great too.
Savannah, an undisputed world title fight here in the UK, that's a big, big deal.
It's a massive deal. It's a massive deal. It's what I've worked hard for. It's what I've wanted. And we're here.
Well, I've been undisputed twice. This would be a third time for me. I've already been undisputed at 160 before.
Now, see, Johnny Nelson, I'm combining his name with Savannah's. He asked Savannah, undisputed, it's got to be something. He never acknowledged what Claressa just reminded him of. You see the disrespect. Claressa has come over there with her titles to defend her position and everything she's accomplished, putting it on the line. And Johnny Nelson, who is a former world champion himself, simply looks at his countrywoman and looks and says, hey, you know, this has got to be big, right? But where's the acknowledgement for Claressa? Where? See, this is what I'm talking about when I spoke about how they try to play things out. And Claressa immediately corrected him. What I love about her, excuse me, is that she's come into her own. as a champion and a woman, she is versed enough now to be able to sit down in front of these people and check and correct them, come what may, as needed. My hat's off to her, because outside of Serena Williams, she has to be the biggest woman in sports of color. And she's doing not a team thing, but she's actually fighting. And every day is a fight for the person of color. So to see her stand her ground, as they like to say, and be correct and direct in her correctness is a wonderful thing.
It means a lot to be undisputed, but it means more to avenge my only loss in the amateurs. You know what I'm saying? I am the greatest woman of all time. I've proved that, but it's still just that one blemish, and she's sitting here. And I want to show her that, yeah, you beat me when I was 17, but I'm 27 now, and I've grown a lot since I was 17, mentally and physically, and I just want to keep proving that I'm the best. So being undisputed 3 times is great.
Let's go back to the start. You lost to Savannah in the amateurs. Mm. Does it still hurt today?
No, it doesn't. I mean, it happened when I was 17. All it did was make me work harder. That's what loss is supposed to do. It don't define you. Losses don't define who you are. It's about how you bounce back. And I bounced back pretty dang good.
Why do you think you lost that fight?
It's a lot of things, but everything I can say is excuses. So the fight back then doesn't matter. We're here now, and it's a whole different ballgame now.
Your opinion, Savannah, why do you think she lost that fight?
It was because I was a better fighter. But I agree with what you're saying. We're here now, and I'm a totally different fighter, physically, mentally. And on September the 10th, I will be undisputed champion of the world.
No, you won't.
I will be.
Yeah, okay.
Savannah, what are your memories of that fight?
It was just another fight to me. There's nothing that really stands out about that fight.
I was the favorite to win. That win meant a lot to her. That's why she still holds on to it to this day. She keeps bringing it up. What else has she achieved besides beating me in the amateurs?
Maybe.
That was her biggest achievement.
But hey, beat you again on September the 10th and put me instead for another 10 years.
Show me.
It'll set me up for another 10 years, won't it?
Show me. You're not gonna beat me.
Savannah, do you have Clarissa's number?
What was our Clarissa's number?
Lies.
Clarissa did or does she have your number?
So nobody got the GOAT number. That's why we're here. If she had my number, she would have came to the US a long, long time ago and got my number and showed everybody that, oh, Clarissa's not the best, I'm the best. But instead, I had to call her out. I had to let the world know, I want this fight, I want this fight, I want this fight.
Savannah, can you feel Clarissa's anger? Is she angry about the defeat from the amateurs?
Are you angry?
He's asking the questions, not you.
Well, I'm asking you. Are you angry about the defeat?
Are you angry because you never won an Olympic gold medal?
Not really, no.
You should be.
Why should I?
You let your whole country down 2012. You lost the first day, and you were the favorite. You should feel terrible.
You two have sparred before. Who wants to tell me about it?
Oh, we sparred in Colorado. She remembers what happened.
Tell me about it.
She couldn't do nothing with me in there, and that was 2016, prior to the Olympics. That's why we see I won gold and she won nothing. You got served 6 rounds.
No, we done 4 rounds, Clarissa, and nothing happened.
Okay.
In them 4 rounds?
Girl, your face was
Oh, yeah.
orange as a pumpkin when it got done.
You've never made no one's face look like a pumpkin?
See, that's what you say, but I beat everybody unanimous decision. I've knocked out world champions. You fought low-class opponents.
Who have you knocked out?
Who have you knocked out? Let's talk about that.
I haven't said anything about knocking people out. I'm asking you, who have you knocked out?
I'm asking you, who have you knocked out?
Looked at me records.
A lot of girls who were bums. Maria Lindbergh, 3-day replacement. Musea.
Boxer was in front of me.
Musea was a 147-pounder. Who?
Now, I'm going to tell you something. With what Clarissa is saying to her right now is simply telling you that she has been studying this girl. She has gone up and down her resume and can tell you about who she's fighting. Huh? One of her opponents was 11, 55, and 4. Are you kidding me? They would annihilate Clarissa for fighting someone with a record like that. Yeah. 11, 55, and 4. Clarissa fought her first professional fight against Franchon Cruz Discern. Huh? Yeah. You can't look at what Marshall has accomplished and look at it that she's been facing world-class opposition. In her 6th fight, she fought Hannah Gabriels. 7th fight, Hannah Ranking. 8th fight, Femke, who Savannah just knocked out. The next fight was Christina Hammer. Then Ivana Habazin. Come on, man. It's no contest. Clarissa's 27 years old. Savannah is 31 years old. Do the math, people.
Who have you fought against that was elite? Who was elite?
Do you realise how hard I am to match?
Who was elite?
Do you realise how hard I am to match?
Who was elite?
Do you realise how hard I am to match?
You're not hard to
Who
match.
would want to box me? Who would want to fight me?
Who's elite? Who you fought against? A lot of good girls at that 160.
I'm not saying that.
Who's elite?
I'm saying to you, do you realise how hard I am to match?
Nope, I don't.
Why would you want to fight me?
Why would I want to fight you?
You've got a high chance of getting knocked out.
That's the only chance you got.
Box Clarissa Shields.
That's the only chance.
You've got a chance of going 10 rounds with not a scratch on your face.
Girls get scratches and I'm still going to get the W every time. That's the only chance you got to beat me is knocking me out. And I'm telling you, you ain't got the strength to do it. That's your only chance. What you going to do, outbox me? You going to outskill me?
I'll outbox you and I'll hurt you.
I'll show you.
I will outbox you and I will hurt you.
You better play it smart because you stand there and bang with me. You're going to be the one going to sleep, not me.
When Clarissa was 15 years old, a world ranked number 2 fighter was brought into their gym and asked to spar with this world-class fighter. They asked the fighter, how many rounds you want to go? The woman said, I'll give her 6, but she'll quit by 4. Clarissa beat that woman up. She was 15 years old, like 140 something pounds. She was much smaller, and the woman was like 180 pounds. Clarissa laid beams on that woman, and that woman said that this girl is going somewhere, gave her a dap and everything, and told her, yeah, she's the real deal. 15 years old. This woman, Marshall, and Johnny Nelson, and the PTB that's over there backing this machine called Marshall, are banking on hurting Clarissa. Now, how are you going to hurt her? She's a fighter. They're in the hurt business. Outside of doing something illegal and of a cheating nature, if you're talking about being heads up, Savannah's in trouble. Big trouble. Did you hear Clarissa said, you better be careful, because you thinking you gonna hurt me, you stand up in there, you gonna get hurt yourself. She's composed. This ain't nothing new for her. The woman has won 2 world gold medals as an amateur. This is her 3rd go round for undisputed as a professional. And where is Johnny Nelson's acknowledgments? You see? This is not the Savannah Marshall show. It's no show if Clarissa didn't come here, which she didn't have to do. It's not Clarissa's fault that Savannah can't fly. But y'all bringing this woman over here to try to assess what she's accomplished as nothing to build up your house girl.
Play it smart.
Mm-hmm. Clarissa, it's clear Peter Fury's made a lot of adjustments to Savannah. Can you see it? Do you see it? Do you see a difference?
I don't. I think she's gotten worse since 2012, her skill level and everything. When she was in America, you fought on one of the biggest cards, Mayweather McGregor. Nobody remembers it. Nobody. Now she comes to the UK, her hometown, her home country, and now she's a knockout queen. But that's the privilege of her being a Brit.
Savannah's Clarissa improved over the years?
I think she's improved, yeah. I think she's totally different from when we boxed as an amateurs.
Tell me, give me some detail. Where's the devil in the detail? Where?
She boxes more as a pro now. She's a better fighter than what she was in 2012.
Is she the A side?
On paper, she's the A side.
What do you mean on paper?
On paper, you're the A side.
You just said you were the A side.
You've got all the belts. On paper, you are the A side, but there's nothing about the situation that says you're the A side.
Confusing me. Contradiction.
What don't you understand?
You sound
on paper, you say you're the A side.
Guess what matters? What's in black and white? That's what matters. So if in black and white, I'm the A side. I'm the A side.
Are you the star of the show?
Absolutely.
Is she the star of the show?
Are you a star?
I am a star. I'll be an even bigger star on September the 10th.
Are you a bigger star than me?
I will be.
So you just answered the question that you're not.
I will be.
And you won't be.
I will be.
We can go back and forth where you want, but guess what? Coulda, woulda, shoulda. I'm a 3-time division world champion. You got 1 belt.
So,
and we've been pro the same amount of time.
You see her cut her up? It's like, see, Clarissa is versed now. This is not some young girl, huh? This is not some girl that's kind of wet behind the ears or anything. She's a seasoned pro right now. Even only with 12 fights, she knows and she's comfortable in her own skin of professional boxing. She's been in the gyms with the quality people. She knows exactly what's up. But what I love more than anything is how she's handling the two of them. She's in a battle right now during this interview face-off with two opponents, Johnny Nelson and Savannah Marshall, and she's whooping both of their asses.
You only got there before me.
That's what you say. But can you even beat the girls that I beat? I'm gonna show you why I wanna fight you September 10th. You're gonna see why.
Biggest regret of your life.
That's what you say. I feel like I'm unbeatable. At this time in my life, 100%. So any girl says that they can beat me, I'm gonna give them a chance to show me. That's why I'm here. If I didn't make it for myself, that I would always be poor and I would never have nothing.
I grew massively from that event in my life, both mentally and physically.
Savannah, are you the biggest puncher out there in women's boxing?
This is boxing. You gotta land first.
I will hurt you. I will finish you.
Oh, I still don't feel it.
Let's get back to
See,
the beginning.
that whole
There's so
thing that she keeps talking about hurting Clarissa, hurting her. Boxing is a hurt business. People get hurt all the time. The only thing about being a true fighter is when you get hurt, you come back after that. You shake the hurt off. You go out and do what you got to do to complete the process. You see, Clarissa don't have coward in her where she gonna fold up because she took a good shot or she even got dazed or buzzed or even got dropped. Hannah Gabriel's had her on the canvas and she got up and won the fight. This is the thing that real fighters understand. See, front runners from the UK like AJ don't understand those things because they've been put in situations to look good all the time. But sometimes things just don't go your way. And you have to improvise. You have to make adjustments. See, they're banking on one thing. Savannah being able to hurt Clarissa. Clarissa has fought men. It doesn't matter being hurt. That's part of the process. Clarissa is thinking about the W, The W. And what do you do to get the W? You maintain, you persevere, you press on, you be better. She hit you with one, you hit her with 4 or 5. It's a simple thing, but a difficult thing on the individual because a lot of individuals do not have what it requires to take them to the next level, especially if they've been assisted along the way.
When did boxing come into your life?
At the age of 11.
How and why?
My dad told me he used to box, and if he would have stuck to what he was passionate about, he would never went to prison. I said, what's that? He said, boxing. And then my best friend made me a bet in the 5th grade that I wouldn't last in boxing for a week. He owed me $10 still. And I just went to the gym and I tried it out. And I'm a crier too. My dad knows I'm really emotional and I had anger problems back then. So I asked him could he sign me up and he just was like, no, you're too pretty to box. No. And he only signed me up because he didn't want me to get older and be like, I could have been a good boxer, but my dad wouldn't sign me up. But he thought I would get beat up and quit.
Growing up in Flint, Michigan, there were tough times.
Yeah.
Has that made you the fighter you are today?
Yeah, I got a little bit more grit than other people, I think. Since the age of 13 when I decided to move up my mom's house and go and stay with, a boxing brother who lived down the street from the gym, and then just been kind of house to house for the years leading up to the Olympics. I think it made me realize at a young age that if I didn't make it for myself, that I would always be poor and I would never have nothing. And I felt like I was always destined for greatness in boxing, so I just gave 100% to it, did my best every fight, and was able to make history a few times.
When you walked into the boxing gym, did you find you had to gain respect?
Yeah, I'll say about the first couple months, but after one year and a half, I was the best in my gym. I boxed against everybody in the gym from from the kids my age to the grown men. And I kind of just did that all the way leading up till about like 18, 19 years old. And I boxed against men majority, never fought against a girl or nothing until had my first fight. And yeah, boxing was just something that I loved to do. It made me feel good. And it helped me release my anger that I had just about the things I had to go through growing up.
What's it mean to you being a role model, influence?
It means a lot to be a role model. I just want to give hope to the people and influence that we can be whatever we want to be. You know, it doesn't matter who your parents were or, you know, if you're born into poverty, that your choices and your decisions is what dictates your life, you know?
You recently had a street named after you. How's that make you feel?
Oh, that was great. It was a street that my grandmother raised me on, so I grew up on that street. Have a lot of memories on that street. If my grandmother was here, she'd probably be crying, laughing because it's just something that we've never seen before in my hometown. I'm happy that I was the first.
Savannah, you're a Hartlepool girl. How did boxing come into your life?
Randomly, just through friends. I'd never watched boxing, never took an interest. Followed one of my friends to the gym and the rest is history.
What were the early days like? Did you have to gain respect?
I had to gain respect from the coaches, everyone in the gym. They didn't want me there. Other clubs didn't want me there sparring. But my love for the sport just took over and I didn't care what other people thought.
Over the years, I've seen you change massively from being young, shy, to now owning who you are. Take yourself over to Mayweather gym by yourself to show the passion and love for the sport. Is that something you feel you had to do?
I don't think I had to do it. It was more I wanted to do it. I wanted to excel in the sport, so these were the opportunities that were given to me.
Did it make you go? I know I spent a lot of time in Germany. Going there, that made me think or realise, you know what, I'm actually not bad here. Do you think doing that trip worked for you?
100%. I grew massively from that event in my life, both mentally and physically.
Clarissa, you call yourself the GROOMING, the greatest woman of all time. Tell me why.
Because of what I achieved. And I don't just call myself that. A lot of the fans in the world consider me that now because of my accomplishments. 2-time Olympic gold medalist, the first in U.S. history. 3-time division world champ, 12-time world champion in just a matter of 5 years. I feel like the next girl that's coming up, because I do want a girl to come up and be better than me. I do. I just think it's gonna take a lot because I took in some very, very hard challenges early on, and I was able to come out on top.
Savannah, is she the GROOMING? Is she what she says she is, the greatest woman of all time?
No.
Who is you?
Now that was a hater remark. No. Just utter jealousy, like William said. You know, you have to acknowledge the woman's accomplishments. Savannah hasn't won but one world title and hasn't ventured out against the type of opponents that Clarissa has, nor has she had the amateur success, nor has she had the professional success. This woman is going for her 3rd undisputed title. 3rd in this fight with Marshall. She is accomplished, regardless of if she's a black woman, regardless of if she's from the United States, regardless of if you don't like her. You have to acknowledge what she has accomplished. And in the presser, which I won't have enough time to play for you here today, but I will be back with more of this on these people because the fight isn't happening yet until next month. You will hear Marshall call Clarissa a bully. And Clarissa laughed and said, "That's a first. No one's ever called me a bully." Why? Because she speaks with such confidence and assuredness in her own ability. She's self-contained because she's self-sufficient, and she's versed with experience that Marshall doesn't have. That's a go-to insult for them to tell someone who is confident in their abilities and who can speak on it that you're a bully, that you're arrogant. It's an insult. And they do it more and more and more. And when it comes your way, you have to be prepared to deal with it and knock it down. Because you reserve the right to stand your ground every bit as anyone else in this walk of life. You don't be forgiving because you black. You embrace the excellence of the anointing. There are people who try to be like you every day and they hate your guts. They have underground circumstances where they devise means of kidnapping your people, stealing their organs, because there's just something about that melanated flesh that hasn't been revealed. But if you're spiritual, you already know what it is. It's the God in you. The God that's for you. And for that, you don't need to apologize.
Girl, boo.
Savannah, are you the biggest puncher out there in women's boxing?
I believe I am, yeah.
So what happens to you if she lands a big shot clean?
You gonna see. First of all, this is boxing. You gotta land first. That's the name of the game. And then two, I've only been dropped once in my career. Once.
You think you can hold her shot?
I don't think she can hold my shots.
But what happens if she does land?
If she lands, she gonna land a punch like everybody else who's landed one, and we're gonna continue fighting.
When you land one of your clean shot, what happens? Tell her.
I hurt you. I really hurt you.
And then what?
Does it finish her? Or does it just hurt her?
It will finish you.
Please, I see no confidence. I don't even feel that. Say it again.
I will hurt you. I will finish you.
Oh, I still don't feel it. But that's okay.
I need to feel it. You'll see.
No,
it.
because
You'll
listen.
feel it on September the 10th.
Because when you say something that you mean, you know you mean it. I'm whooping your ass. And if I could, I'd take it to the MMA cage.
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, because you talking about you can beat me in MMA. You can't beat me in nothing. Not race, not basketball, not football, not nothing.
What are you going on about?
You can't beat me in nothing.
What are you going on about?
You can't beat me in
We're not
nothing.
at school.
You can't beat me in nothing. Nothing. I want you to understand that. Nothing. You want to go outside and race? You want to shoot hoops? You can't beat me in nothing.
I'm not interested.
And even in boxing.
All I'm
September 10th,
interested what's going on in the ring.
do not underestimate me.
I don't.
You
I
do.
know what you're about.
No, you don't.
I do.
You don't know till we get
I
in
do.
there.
No,
don't
you're
know
better than
till we
what you
get in
think.
there.
Savannah, can you outbox her?
I can outbox and I will.
Boo.
How?
With my mindset and my skill and my power.
Okay.
You don't think that's possible?
Nope. I know it's not possible. Ain't no thinking to it.
My girl. This is what I'm talking about, man. Woo! Loads of confidence. She's just like a female Ali, man. She really is. Beat me? Man, you better wake up and apologize. This is right. Yeah. Yeah.
What's to say this is your 5 minutes of fame? Is it?
No.
Okay.
This is just a start.
You want to retire, bro?
What do you think she means by that?
By what?
Saying it's your 5 minutes of fame.
Because this is my biggest fight.
Is it my biggest fight?
Yeah. And you know what it is?
No. You're a good fighter. You're not great. The difference.
Let's get to fight night. The crowd are singing in anticipation. What are you feeling? What are you thinking, Clarissa?
I feel good. I think to myself, you work so hard to get here, and everybody's here to see you. So go out there and do what you love. No need to be nervous. No need to be. Cause they may boo me when I come out in London, but I've been booed before. But it's more of a, they may hate me now, but they're gonna love me when the fight is over. I'm happy to be here. Once those lights come on, I'm ready to do what I do best.
Savannah, how will you feel? How will those nerves for you be when you can hear the crowd you're about to walk?
This is it. This is go time.
Put me there. What's in your head?
This has been what I've been working for ever since I turned pro. To become undisputed middleweight champion of the world.
I'm going to ask this question, Clarissa. What happens if you lose?
I don't think like that. I don't even answer those type of questions because there is no what if I lose. That's why I wouldn't go to the gym if that was the case. I wouldn't fight her if that was the case. I'm gonna win. It's not no what happens if I lose. There is no if.
It's unthinkable. Is that what you're telling me?
When I win, what's gonna happen? I'm gonna shoot into superstardom and continue boxing.
Impossible.
Until I'm
You
35.
cannot lose.
No.
Do you think she'll be able to take a loss?
I don't know.
Cause she don't know.
I think we'll never see you in the boxing ring again.
Please, girl, you wish you had my chain. You wish
Oh,
you had
thank
the
you.
Olympic gold medals. My goodness, you want to beat me so bad, and then you can't.
Savannah, have you thought about defeat?
Of course I have.
You have?
Mm-hmm.
And?
It's not happening.
You lost right there. Thinking about
You
it,
think it's possible?
Of course it's possible.
lost again.
Savannah, is this personal or is it just business?
It's just business.
Clarissa?
No, a little bit of both. A little bit of both. I don't like her, but I just can't stand a fighter who haven't accomplished nowhere, not even half of what I've done, and talk the way she does. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, but didn't. So I really don't have no respect for nobody like that. So no, I don't like her personally. And as far as in business, I'm gonna handle my business like I always do.
This is a real historic moment for women's boxing,
Yeah.
worldwide. Can we get a handshake?
Do you want to shake?
If you want to shake hands, we can shake hands. If you don't, I don't.
Are we getting a handshake?
Was that a yes or a no?
What you want to do?
We'll shake hands.
Two feuding rivals. One
Yeah. So that was from the face-off. The presser was equally as ugly, you know?
Disputed title.
It was
On September the
equally.
10th, we have a very...
Yep. So that, you know. So what do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about that face-off interview, man? Something else, wasn't it? Something else. But like I said, Clarissa handled herself very well. She had 2 combatants in there with her. 2. She dealt with both of them. Both of them. You have to pay attention to what people say, man. The way they frame their words, all of that. But Clarissa was on top of her game. She really was. And she knew what those people were trying to do, and she handled it very well, like a professional.
Marquee Saturday evening at the O2 Arena here in London. The main event, 10 rounds for the undisputed Women's Middleweight Championships of the world. The United States of America versus the United Kingdom. For this press conference, please welcome back first on stage the head of boxing development for Sky Sports, Mr. Adam Smith, as well as the CEO and presenter of this event, a boxer, Mr. Ben Shalom. I would also like to introduce the promoter on Clarissa Shields' side, the head of Salida Promotions, Mr. Dimitri Salida. And finally, joining us on stage as well is Savannah Marshall's coach, Mr. Peter Fury. And now introducing the 2 halves of this historic main event of the first ever all-female card in the United Kingdom. First, from Hartlepool, England, the undefeated and 2-time Olympian, the reigning, defending WBO Women's Middleweight Champion, Savannah, the Silent Assassin, Marshall. and her opponent. She comes to us from Flint, Michigan, in the United States of America, introducing the undefeated two-time Olympic gold medalist and the reigning, defending WBA, WBC, IBF, and Ring Magazine women's middleweight champion. She is known around the world as the GOAT, the greatest woman of all time. Please welcome Claressa Shields. Adam Smith, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Big Mo. Finally, we are here. 2 more sleeps to go ahead of the question we've waited a decade for the answer. Who is the greatest middleweight on the planet? It's a massive event, a magical clash for the undisputed treasure, pitting these extraordinary women together. To my right, the GOAT, Claressa Shields, multiple gold medal winner, multiple world title champion, one of America's biggest role models. And on the other side, the pride of our Northeast, Britain's silent assassin, the world amateur champion, the only conqueror of Claressa Shields, the powerful Savannah Marshall, who's in the form of her life as a world champion. There's passion, there's needle, there's elite skills, and no one can pick a winner. Ben, it's got everything.
We're finally here, guys. It's been a long 12 months getting to this position. It's been 10 years for both of these athletes and both of these women. I want to thank Dimitri Salita and Mark Taffet, who've been incredible to work with, incredible promoters of Claressa Shields, and Mick Hennessy and Peter Fury with Savannah Marshall. We've worked hard on it because we believed there was something special. We all knew it, we all felt it, we knew it had to get done, we knew it had to be done. What thing that really stands out is these two women not only are achieving their own dreams on Saturday night, but are achieving women's boxing's dreams, which was to be taken seriously, which was to stand on its own 2 feet, which was to not be propped up by men's fights and heavyweight fights, but to sell out and owe to themselves. And it's an incredible feat. When these two turned over, women's boxing wasn't like this. They turned over because they loved the sport, because they had a passion for the sport, because they were uniquely talented. They're about to create a pathway for girls in gyms all around the country and all in the US because of what's happening on Saturday night. And I couldn't be more proud of both of them. I think what Claressa Shields has done in the US, when we look back in 10 years, in 20 years, in 30 years, the battles that she's had to come through will go down in absolute history. And Savannah Marshall has done it a different way, and she has become a superstar in her own right in the UK and had to knock down barriers both within herself and outside of herself, and she is now one of the most feared female fighters on the planet. I can't wait. I'm so thankful to even be part of this historic event, and I really believe that Saturday night will change the sport forever.
I will go to the teams shortly, but I want to bring the women in first of all. Claressa, welcome back. We saw you in Cardiff. It was magnetic, really, with the red slippers and the performance, defending your title and getting ready for this moment. We had you back in Newcastle, slightly more hostile maybe, but it happens now in London, in the capital. You've got great memories of this place from the Olympics in 2012, also an Olympic gold medalist in Rio. Where would this sit if you win on Saturday night in all your experiences and successes so far?
Oh, Adam, how cute. When I win on Saturday night, it's going to be, it's going to be a great victory for me. I know that this isn't my first undisputed fight. This isn't my first time having a very, very hard training camp and being the underdog. This isn't my first time. I've done this numerous of times, and I've come out on top every time. It's going to feel good to just kind of quiet all the doubters about, this knockout power and the lack of my skill and the lack of my accomplishments or whatever the case may be, because you know, I've never seen something like this in boxing before. Not the all women's card, because that's magnificent, but someone who lives off of an amateur win for 10 years. God. I mean, sometimes I think about it and I'm like, it's like they're trying to erase everything I've done in the past 10 years, because I have been dominant in boxing for a decade. Since I was 17. I didn't win the Olympics and then just have a terrible career. It was like, I won the Olympics, I won it again, I turned pro, I won titles, and it's just like, wow, that's still not enough for you guys. Okay. So I'm here to fight against who UK considers the best. I'm here to fight against who UK considers the knockout puncher, right? And I'm here to show you guys that I am a very special talent, that champions are not made, they're born, and that I was born to do this. So that's why I'm here. I'm happy to be here with the naysayers and the doubters and the fans. I love you guys. It's going to be a great show. And you'll all be fans after.
Excellent. Excellent. She checked everybody in the room. Everybody. You gotta love it, because that's what she is. She's a champion on hostile ground, hostile territory. And she's behaving like it. Yeah. She's behaving like it.
Clarissa, when Big Mo introduced Savannah, there was applause. There was respectful applause from you. So there is respect for Savannah Marshall, but there's been a lot of needle. There's been a lot of words. Where are we with that? We've seen the gloves are off. We've seen all the build-up. What do you think of her now? I'm
2-0 and all of that. 2-0 in the press conference, 2-0 gloves and off. Gonna be 3-0 Saturday. But as far as in Savannah Marshall, the thing is that people write out narratives and they just try to paint me out to be the villain because I'm more vocal. But I've ran into Savannah Marshall plenty of times at the Mayweather gym, in London. I've always been cordial. But how can you be cordial with somebody who try to come at you talking about some, they'll knock you out in 2 minutes and 2 rounds, and they'll do this, and you're not better than them, you just got to the belts before them, like trying to discredit me. So that's where it all started. It didn't just start from, oh, she beat me in the amateurs, I just hate her guts. No. If you watch my T-Rex documentary after she won the world championships, which solidified me a spot in the Olympics to get the wild card, I walked up to her and said, thank you. Because if she would have done terrible in that tournament, I wouldn't have made it to the Olympics. So there is no hate for her. There is no hate. Do I dislike the things that she say? Yes. Do I respect her as a fighter? Sure, but don't paint it out like I'm the one who started the whole mess. That's not...
Again, excellent. She is articulating exactly what needs to be said. She's keeping it professional, and she's keeping it on what it needs to be focused on: merit, accomplishment, and what you're looking toward happening on fight night. That's where it's going to take place, in the ring. All that other stuff doesn't mean anything, whether Savannah said this about knocking her out and this and that. Listen, when they even go to trying to call Clarissa a bully, you have to hear these things to know exactly what these people are saying. They're trying to make her a villain. She's a damn hero to girls all over the world. It doesn't matter what color they are. It doesn't matter who they are and where they're from. What matters is she's a woman, and she's working it in a way that a woman with her skill set, her pedigree, and accomplishments can do. Just like Serena Williams did in her profession.
Not true. After I beat up Emma Cozen, she's the one ringside talking about some, if you fight that way against May, I'm going to wipe the floor with you. What the heck? I mean, it just caught me so off guard because it was like, I would never say that to somebody after they fought. So I just was like, oh, dang. I thought it'd be like, hey, congrats, you won your fight. You're getting close to a fight with me and you. You crossed the pond to come over here and challenge me. It just was no respect from her. But then everybody wants me to accept that and be like, oh, my God. Yeah, Savannah, you're right. So that just blew me. So I don't hate Savannah Marshall. This moment is here because of me and her. She's done a great job promoting herself off of me, talking about the win, bringing it up all the time. But I've put in more hard work, and the accomplishments show that because this ain't even all 12 of my belts, but I got 12 titles compared to 1 in over 5 years. So I'm just here to show that, look, I'm the best, and you give respect when respect is given. So if she don't respect me, don't expect me to respect her. That's all.
Savannah, do you respect Clarissa Shields? You certainly lit a fuse in Cardiff. This has been 10 years of really waiting for the opportunity to show or try and show that you are the best and that you will become undisputed. Is it all part of a plan, or is it natural that you don't like her and you don't have that much respect for her?
No, of course I have respect for Clarissa. I've always had respect for Clarissa. What she doesn't like is that I've got an opinion. That is what she doesn't like. I sat and watched the box in Cardiff and I thought it was diabolical. And she didn't like that I told her that. That's what she got upset over.
And you thought that it was a diabolical performance, and that means that you go into this, you believe, as favourite to stop her and inflict the first professional defeat on Clarissa Shields and do what you did in the amateurs 10 years ago.
Yeah, I did think it was a diabolical performance. You know, she'd rammed down people's throats, that she was this, that she was that. We were going to see this spectacular knockout. Sat there for 10 rounds, drifted off. And we didn't see nothing.
You didn't even answer the man's question.
What was the second question?
Are you going to knock me out? You said it was a diabolical performance, unanimous decision, but against another undefeated fighter. But are you, Savannah Marshall, going to knock out Clarissa Shields?
I've been asked this for the past 12 weeks, and I've never once said I'm going to knock you out. I said I'm going to hurt you, and I will.
Are you going to knock me out? Yes or no?
I'm going to hurt you, and I will.
Yeah, we still don't have an answer.
Well, we'll see when you wake up on the canvas. I'll ask you then. Have I knocked you out? And you can answer it then?
Listen here. I don't know why you think you so big and so strong, but you're not. All this facade, you knocking out these bums. I'm sorry. It's not even fazing me. It's actually comical. And you know what? You would be a fool to come in there and stand there in my face in a boxing ring, and your best bet is to try to box and move. You stand there with me, you gonna be the one sleep.
Whoa.
You gonna be sleep.
12 lasses
you gonna be sleep because you're not stronger than me. You're not stronger than me. I had a whole different game plan for Emma than you. I'm not worried about you.
Jesus, well, I haven't seen how different in 12
One
fights.
bill.
Tell you what, I'd be impressed if you do something different. I'll tell you that.
Guess what?
What?
I put in 11 weeks for this camp just to show you.
Well, I put in 12.
You're not about to get in there and walk through me. You're not about to walk through me. Stop it. You're gonna walk through. I can't wait to after the fight, because all I want you to say is, Clarissa, you may have a big mouth, but you back it up every time. That's what I want you to say after the fight. And you know what? You be hating on my chain. You be hating on it, but guess what? I bet you this chain that you don't win the fight.
Oh, no, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll just take the belts. I'll just have the belts.
You're not going to have the belts.
I don't want no chain. I don't want that.
Put $35,000 of your purse.
Well, I don't know what you over there, but I'd be taking that right back.
What you just said?
I'd be taking that right back. You've been all over spending
you
$35,000
want to be the GOAT. You want to have a chain.
Oh, I know, thank you.
You want to be the GOAT. You want to have a chain. You want to be me. You want to have the belts. You want the Olympic gold medals. You want it, right?
No,
yes, you do.
Oh
my God, who doesn't want to win the Olympics for their country?
Hey, where your gold medals at? Hey, you want this chain? You want my belts?
No,
thank you.
It's a valid question.
Huh?
It's a valid question.
Where your gold medals at, huh? Huh? You got opinion? Oh, you a hater.
It doesn't matter because everybody has opinions.
You are?
Everybody
that's
has
what
opinions.
you don't like. Anyone who's got an opinion against you.
I don't like
you
that.
You don't like.
No,
I
don't
why?
like that.
Because
you are a hater.
You're
and
nothing
that you
but
don't,
a bully.
No.
That's what you are.
I'm a bully.
You're a bully. I'm a bully.
Whoa.
Yeah, you are. That's what you are. You're a
I
bully.
swear, that's the first time I've ever heard that one. I'm confident.
Good, you want to be? You need.
You lack confidence. Lots of it, and always have, and always will. And guess what? If on Saturday,
we'll see come Saturday when I'm stepping
Saturday,
over
you better believe every word you saying, 'cause I'm about to put you through hell.
Good, that's what I'm praying for.
Believe it.
If I don't get the best version of Clarissa, I'll be disappointed. If I get that Clarissa that turned up in Cardiff.
You about to take an L. 12-1 on the way.
Yeah,
12-1 on the way.
12-1 on the way. No more G-Wart.
12-1
No more G-Wart.
Yeah. Yep.
Savannah, what will it mean to you? You don't want the chain if you win. What will it mean to you to become the undisputed champion on Saturday night after everything you've been through, the ups and downs of the boxing career and journey?
It'll mean everything. It'll mean all the blood, sweat and tears, everything that I've went through, it'll all be worthwhile.
And you believe it will happen. This is your moment of destiny.
It does happen, Adam. It does happen.
Let's just bring in the teams for a slight respite. Mark Taffet and Dimitri Salita, welcome. Great to have you both with us. Mark, I know that you've had a close relationship as a manager of Clarissa, and you've told us for a long, long time what a special woman she is, not just in the boxing ring, but for the whole of America. You must be very proud that she's come over to London on such a defining night for sport here.
Back in April of 1991, when Bob Arum and I worked on Vander Holyfield versus George Foreman, believe me, this is not something we thought we would see during our careers. And it is an honor, it is a privilege, it's a humbling, very emotional moment, and it's because these women have worked so hard. Clarissa Shields carries the entire sport of women's boxing on her broad shoulders, and I've always said that. She cares more about women's sports, and women's boxing succeeding than she does about her own succeeding. People have said, is this the biggest fight of her life? If you know anything about Clarissa Shields, what you will know is life has been the biggest fight of Clarissa Shields' life. Boxing is what she does, but life has been her biggest challenge. She has come up aces. She has not just survived, but she has thrived. She's a special, transcendental woman. She's a figure like Billie Jean King, like Muhammad Ali, that people will look back on someday and say that woman changed everything for many of us. I'm so proud to be with her, and I know what she's going to do Saturday night because I watched Floyd Mayweather, I watched Roy Jones, and I put Clarissa Shields right there in my top three, skill-wise. She's an amazing, incredible person who happens to put boxing gloves on. And come Saturday night, the world's going to see that. So I love her. I wish her the best. My 12-year-old grandson said to me last night, Grandpa, is it going to be better than Taylor Serrano and Michaela against Hamadouche? When a 12-year-old boy says that in the United States, you know we're on our way to something great. So I wish everybody the best Saturday night, and we're here for something special.
Yeah, lovely words, Mark. Echo all of that. And Dimitri, again, as Clarissa's promoter, welcome back. Obviously, we've got a long history together, and it's fantastic to have you as part of Team Shields. And again, you know the magnitude of these sort of moments, don't you, in boxing?
This is a great event, and I'm very grateful to Sky and to Boxer to be able to bring us all together. The GOAT of promoters, Mr. Bob Arum, is participating in this card. Marshall Kaufman, Matchroom, so many great promoters coming together, and what a great example you guys set. People working together to make the biggest and the best fights. And it's quite ironic that the women are on top of this and are driving the boat to make this happen. So this is going to be a fantastic event. I'm very grateful and honored to be here. I just want to say a couple of things about what Savannah said and Clarissa said. Clarissa has made history every one of her fights. Her fourth professional fight, she fought for the world title. Then she fought the #1 contender. She's fought Hannah Gabriel. She's fought Christina Hammer. She's fought some of the biggest and the best fights leading up to this. Savannah Marshall has fought opponents, so she's looked good against girls that are opponents. So there's levels to fighting fighters that come to win and fighting opponents. And when Savannah gets into the ring with Claressa Shields, she's going to experience things that she's never experienced before from a boxing point of view. So people can say here whatever they want to say. When you get into the ring, once the footwork starts and the jab starts and the punches starts and the defense and the offense, she's going to be in a situation where she's never been before. And I saw the documentary that you guys did leading up to the fight. This is nothing like singing Colors of the Rainbow. Claressa Shields is a whole different story. She's come with all the smoke, as they say, in the United States. And it's going to be a great night of boxing, and Claressa's hand is going to be raised.
Talk about it.
Thanks, Dimitri. Peter Fury, one of our great trainers and the man that has done so much for Savannah Marshall over the last few years. They're coming with all the smoke. They believe they've been with elite fighters and Savannah's been in with opponents. What's your reaction to that? And how does your fine lady win on Saturday night?
Smoke don't win fights. That's number one. Listen, I've listened to a lot of crap in this build-up. I've listened to some positive stuff. And look, it doesn't mean people's vying for an edge. I tell you what, the way everybody's speaking here now, we should all, me and Savannah, Meg, get our suitcase and run home. Not turn up Saturday. It's all shit to me, this. I think what we've got to look at is the realistic. You know, Savannah fought opponents. Savannah's fought 1, 2 people. Claressa's fought, dispatched them. You know, so we'll fight anybody. Savannah will fight anybody. That's why Claressa's here. But look, I'm a little bit different. I'm going to give Claressa all the credit in the world. Like I said, double Olympian, come over here to London to prove she's the best. This is what real world champions do. So I will never criticise a fighter because obviously I ain't in there fighting myself. I'm a trainer. But basically, she needs all the respect, all the accolades. Will Savannah lose confidence? Is Savannah the best fighter she's ever been in the ring with? Yes, she is. Is that going to be the case Saturday? Yes, that's going to be the case. So, on talent-wise, we'll see who the best is. This is why we're here. We ain't got a crystal ball. This is a 50-50 fight. I've always said it is. But look, I'm silently confident in Savannah's ability. You know, she's a powerhouse, natural powerhouse. There's a difference. She's not a stiff thing looking to land a big shot where she's going to get outboxed, slip and slided, countered. You know, you're dreaming if you think that's going to happen here. At the end of the day, we've prepared for a toe-to-toe slugfest, a run-around-the-ring boxing match, whatever it is, because I work on the downsides. And the good thing is, with Savannah being such a high-level athlete, she's been able to adapt to all these different scenarios. Like I always say, you've got one iron in the fire, which is a domestic shit fighter. Yeah? So look at it on a world level. And then you've got fighters with 12 irons in the fire who can change up, change the tactics on the spur of the minute, adapt. And when them 12 irons run out, what does it come to? It comes down to heart, guts, and having a fight. And that's what Savannah has done in a camp. She's sparred with a lot of middleweights and world-level middleweights as well, in males, I'll say that. And at the end of the day, there's been blood, snot, you know, she's been hurt in them spars, carried on, done another 5, 6, 3 rounds, 4 rounds, you know, coming to the corner, wiping the blood off her face. You know, this is a serious job. She took this deadly serious, which also is respect to Claressa Shields, because no way she underestimated. No way am I going to put this girl down. She's a fabulous fighter. And I want to finish off and say what a great event for women's boxing this is. You know.
Yeah, a great event for women's boxing. And they blew it, as I said earlier in the show, by not allowing this to be the single sport to advance for this weekend while everyone else remained on pause. They had the world by the throat, by the jugular, and this was an opportunity to not only honor the queen, but the queens of the ring in an all-female dominated fight card that could have not only just made history, but assured a place where going forward, it will be forever acknowledged and attached to the queen. See, they blew this, people. They blew it because they called themselves doing something that was out of honor, but not necessarily respect, which is two different things. Yeah, that's why they say honor and respect, respect and honor. But see, that's not what happened here. And as this promotion has been postponed and they've put it up against other men in rematches and comebacks, that is going to further take away from the women who were ready, primed and honed, ready to go and state their claim in the sport. Boxing has suffered another setback. Honestly, this is what it is. And you have to acknowledge that. If they don't want to acknowledge it, so be it. But I acknowledge it. I recognized it from the bat. And that's why I spoke on it. This is why I made this show dedicated to this card and these women. And hopefully everyone who was supposed to face out on this particular night for Saturday, September 10th, they will be brought back for the 15th. But I am so sorry that the powers that be could not look at things in a different way and see the sport for what it is. Women are making tremendous strides in the sport of boxing. And this was an opportunity for them to fly solo amongst the stars in a way that could not be done otherwise. Couldn't be done otherwise. This is what it is. And if you can't see that, I'm sorry. But this is Stormybman. And this is what I do and how I do what I do. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. Thank you for tuning in. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace to everyone out there. And everyone, please remain safe.